Emotions can feel like an unstoppable force, rising like waves, crashing over us before we even have a chance to think. One moment, everything is calm. The next, we're gripped by anger, fear, frustration, or anxiety. And when emotions control us, we often say or do things we later regret. But what if you could change that? What if instead of being swept away by emotions, you could stand firm, calm, composed, and unshaken? The Stoics believed this was not only possible, but essential for a good life. They taught that true strength isn't about suppressing emotions, but mastering them, understanding them, and choosing how to respond. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic philosophers, once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." This is where emotional mastery begins, not in controlling the world around you, but in controlling your inner world. In this episode, we're diving deep into 7 powerful Stoic lessons that will help you take command of your emotions. These lessons are not abstract theories. They are practical tools you can apply in your daily life to remain centered, no matter what challenges arise. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's begin this journey toward emotional mastery. 1. Understand what's in your control. One of the most fundamental lessons in Stoicism, and the key to emotional mastery, is understanding what is within your control and what is not. The Stoics called this the dichotomy of control, the simple yet powerful idea that some things are within our power, while others are entirely beyond it. The sooner you make this distinction, the sooner you free yourself from unnecessary stress, frustration, and emotional turmoil. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, put it plainly: "Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your thoughts, choices, and actions, these are yours to command. The opinions of others, the past, the weather, or the unpredictable twists of fate, these are beyond your reach." And yet, how often do we waste energy trying to control the uncontrollable? Think about the last time you felt overwhelmed by emotion. Was it because of something outside of you? A rude comment, a delayed flight, an unfair decision at work? We tend to place our happiness in the hands of external forces. If things go our way, we feel good. If they don't, we feel bad. This dependency is a trap. It makes us emotional slaves to circumstances we cannot dictate. Imagine 2 people stuck in traffic. One is honking, swearing, and gripping the steering wheel in frustration. The other sits back, listening to music, accepting the situation for what it is. Same traffic, same delay, 2 completely different emotional responses. The difference? One is fighting what they can't control, while the other has chosen to master their response. This is the heart of Stoic wisdom. You don't control events, but you control how you interpret and react to them. Instead of resisting what is beyond your power, focus entirely on what is within your domain, your attitude, your effort, your perspective. The moment you do this, you take your power back. You become untouchable. But understanding this concept isn't enough. You have to apply it. The next time something upsets you, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, take action with calm determination. This single shift in thinking can transform how you handle stress, disappointment, and conflict. Marcus Aurelius captured this beautifully. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Strength doesn't come from bending the world to your will. It comes from mastering yourself. 2. Reflect before reacting. How many times have you said or done something in the heat of the moment, only to regret it later? A sharp response in an argument, an impulsive decision fueled by anger, a message sent in frustration. These knee-jerk reactions often cause more harm than the situation itself. The Stoics understood this well, which is why they emphasized the importance of pausing and reflecting before reacting. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, wisely stated, "The greatest remedy for anger is delay." In other words, when emotion surges, step back, take a breath, give yourself a moment of space between stimulus and response. This brief pause is often the difference between wisdom and regret. We live in an age of instant reactions, a world of rapid replies, knee-jerk tweets, and immediate judgments. But reacting impulsively is rarely beneficial. It allows external circumstances to dictate our inner state. The Stoics believed that emotional control begins with awareness, the ability to observe our emotions without being ruled by them. Imagine you receive an email at work criticizing your performance. Your instinct might be to fire back a defensive response, to prove your worth, to let them know they're wrong. But what happens if you wait? If you let the initial surge of frustration subside, you may realize that the criticism contains valuable feedback, or that responding with grace rather than defensiveness will serve you better in the long run. One of the most powerful Stoic practices is to question your emotions before acting on them. The next time something triggers you, ask yourself, why is this bothering me? Am I seeing this clearly, or is emotion distorting my perception? Will reacting impulsively improve this situation or make it worse? By reflecting rather than reacting, you regain control. You prevent small problems from becoming bigger ones. You approach situations with clarity rather than confusion. The Roman Emperor, Marcus Aurelius, who ruled during times of war and political turmoil, practiced this daily. His personal journal, Meditations, is filled with reminders to himself to remain steady, to think before speaking, and to control his impulses. He understood that the ability to pause, reflect, and respond with reason rather than emotion is what separates a wise person from a foolish one. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or pretending they don't exist. Stoicism isn't about becoming numb. It's about mastering yourself so that emotions serve you rather than control you. It's about learning to act with intention instead of reacting with impulse. So the next time you feel anger rising, frustration building, or anxiety creeping in, remember, pause, reflect, then respond. That brief moment of restraint can save you from hours, days, or even years of regret. 3. Practice dispassion. When people hear the word dispassion, they often think it means being emotionless, cold, indifferent, detached from life. But that's not what the Stoics meant at all. Dispassion isn't about suppressing emotions. It's about ensuring they don't rule over you. It's about experiencing life fully without being a slave to your emotional reactions. Seneca, one of the great Stoic thinkers, said, "A raging emotion which has been repressed and not eliminated will only rage more fiercely." The goal isn't to bottle up emotions, but to understand them, to observe them, and ultimately to decide whether they deserve your attention and energy. Think of life as a movie. You are both the actor and the audience. When you get completely lost in the role, every twist and turn, every moment of drama feels like life or death. But if you step back, if you observe the story from a higher perspective, you realize something profound. You're not just the emotions you feel. You are the observer of those emotions. Imagine someone insults you. The instinctive reaction is to feel hurt, angry, defensive. But what if, instead of immediately reacting, you stepped outside yourself for a moment? What if you observed the situation as if it were happening to someone else? Would the insult still have the same power? Would you still feel the same need to respond? Or would you see it for what it truly is? Just words, just sound waves in the air, with no real impact on your worth. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily. He reminded himself in meditations, "You don't have to turn this into something. It doesn't have to upset you." In other words, the event itself is neutral. It's your interpretation of it that creates emotional turmoil. This is where dispassion becomes powerful. Instead of being dragged into every argument, every moment of drama, every wave of fear or frustration, you remain steady. You watch the emotions rise, acknowledge them, and then decide whether they deserve your reaction. More often than not, they don't. The modern world constantly tests our ability to remain dispassionate. Social media thrives on outrage. News cycles fuel fear. Advertisers prey on insecurity. But the Stoic stands firm, unaffected by the storm, knowing that true peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling their own mind. Try this. The next time you feel emotions overwhelming you, pause and mentally step back. Imagine you are watching yourself from the outside. Ask, does this situation truly deserve my energy? Or can I observe it, acknowledge it, and let it pass without reacting? This simple shift in perspective can completely change the way you experience challenges, conflicts, and even daily stress. When you master dispassion, you don't lose your emotions. You gain control over them, and with that control comes freedom. 4. Ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Emotions often make small problems feel like the end of the world. A rude comment from a stranger, an unexpected inconvenience, a disagreement with a friend. These moments spark frustration, anger, or anxiety. But here's a question that can instantly shift your perspective. Will this matter in 5 years? The Stoics understood that most of what we stress over is fleeting. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." This may sound harsh, but it's a powerful reminder. Life is short. The things that upset us today will likely be forgotten in a matter of weeks, months, or years. So why waste time and energy on them? Think about the last time you were upset about something trivial. Maybe it was a traffic jam that made you late, or a coworker who took credit for your idea. In the moment, it probably felt infuriating. But now, looking back, does it still matter? Did it have any real impact on your life? Chances are, it didn't. The same applies to most of the daily frustrations we let consume us. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks. Each rock represents a minor stressor, an argument, an inconvenience, a disappointment. If you carry that weight every day, it becomes unbearable. But the moment you ask, will this matter in 5 years? You drop most of the rocks. You lighten your load. You free yourself from unnecessary emotional baggage. This question is a tool for instant clarity. It shifts your focus from temporary discomfort to the bigger picture. Life is full of challenges, but very few of them are worth long-term emotional investment. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause and ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? Will I even remember this moment? Is this worth my peace of mind? If the answer is no, then let it go. Redirect your energy toward things that truly matter: your health, your relationships, your purpose. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." We replay conversations, obsess over past mistakes, and amplify small problems in our minds. But when you apply the 5-year rule, you cut through the noise. You stop reacting to every little problem and start focusing on what actually shapes your future. The truth is, most things don't matter as much as we think they do. And when you realize that, you gain something priceless: peace. 5. Keep a Stoic journal. One of the most powerful tools the Stoics used to master their emotions was journaling. It wasn't just about recording events. It was about gaining clarity, strengthening the mind, and cultivating inner peace. Writing down your thoughts forces you to slow down, reflect, and analyze situations with reason rather than emotion. Marcus Aurelius himself practiced this daily, and his personal reflections became what we now know as Meditations, one of the greatest Stoic texts ever written. The purpose of a Stoic journal is not to dwell on the past, but to learn from it. Every day you experience emotions, frustration, fear, excitement, disappointment. But instead of letting them dictate your behavior, you can examine them. What triggered them? Were they justified? Did they serve you, or did they cloud your judgment? Journaling helps you separate the noise of emotions from the clarity of reason. Imagine going through a stressful situation, an argument with a friend, a setback at work, or an unexpected challenge. Your emotions rise, and in the moment, everything feels overwhelming. But if you sit down and write about it, something changes. You start to see patterns. You recognize when your emotions are exaggerated. You realize that what seemed unbearable in the moment is actually manageable when viewed with a clear mind. This practice turns emotional chaos into structured thought, helping you process feelings in a constructive way. A simple way to start is by asking yourself 3 questions at the end of each day. 1. What happened today that triggered strong emotions? 2. How did I react, and was that reaction useful? 3. How could I have responded better using Stoic principles? By doing this consistently, you develop a habit of self-awareness. You stop being controlled by emotions because you understand them better. You become more mindful of how you react, and over time, you start responding with more wisdom and less impulse. Seneca emphasized the importance of reviewing the day before sleep. He would reflect on his actions, asking himself if he had been ruled by emotion or by reason. This nightly practice helped him improve daily, always moving toward greater self-control. There's also another benefit to keeping a Stoic journal. It helps you track your progress. Personal growth is often subtle, and it's easy to feel like we're not improving. But when you look back at past entries, you see the changes. You notice how things that once triggered you no longer have the same effect. You realize you've become calmer, wiser, more resilient. Journaling isn't just about writing, it's about thinking. It's about taking control of your emotions rather than letting them control you. If you want to become more stoic, start a journal today. Begin with just a few sentences. Reflect on your experiences. Learn from them. Over time, you'll build a stronger mind, one that remains steady in the face of life's ups and downs. 6. See obstacles as opportunities. Life is full of setbacks. Plans fall apart. People disappoint us. Unexpected challenges arise when we least expect them. The average person sees these obstacles as barriers, things that stand in the way of success, happiness, and peace. But the Stoics saw something different. To them, obstacles weren't just unfortunate events. They were the path itself. Marcus Aurelius famously wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." In other words, the very thing that seems to block your path is, in fact, the path forward. Every difficulty carries within it an opportunity to grow, to adapt, to strengthen your character. Think about it. Some of the most valuable lessons in life come from struggles, the times when you were forced to change, to push yourself beyond your comfort zone, to find solutions when none seemed available. Those were the moments that shaped you. The challenge didn't ruin you, it refined you. Imagine losing a job. It feels like a disaster at first, fear, uncertainty, financial stress. But what if this setback forces you to reassess your life? What if it opens the door to a new career, a business idea, or a lifestyle change that ultimately makes you happier? What if it was the push you needed to step into something better? The same applies to emotional struggles. If someone betrays you, it hurts, but it also teaches you discernment. If a plan falls apart, it's frustrating, but it also teaches you adaptability. The key is to train your mind to ask, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to my advantage? Instead of seeing yourself as a victim of circumstances, you see yourself as an active participant in your own growth. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and later became one of the most respected Stoic philosophers, understood this deeply. He didn't see his early life as unfair or tragic. He saw it as training. Difficulties are things that show a person what they are. Hardships don't make you weak. They reveal your strength. The Stoic approach to obstacles is simple. Accept them. Don't waste energy wishing things were different. Face reality as it is. Analyze them. Ask yourself, how can I grow from this? Act on them. Use them as fuel to become stronger, wiser, and more resilient. When you train your mind to see obstacles as opportunities, nothing can truly defeat you. No setback can break you. No hardship can define you. You become someone who thrives in adversity, not because life is easy, but because you've learned to turn difficulties into stepping stones. So the next time you face a challenge, pause. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, how can I use this? That shift in perspective is the difference between being controlled by life and mastering it. 7. Practice gratitude. In a world that constantly pushes us to want more, achieve more, and compare ourselves to others, it's easy to feel like we're always lacking something. We dwell on what we don't have, what didn't go as planned, and what could be better. But the Stoics knew that this mindset leads only to dissatisfaction and suffering. The antidote, gratitude. Seneca wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor." True wealth isn't about having everything. It's about appreciating what you already have. Gratitude isn't just a passive feeling. It's an active practice. It's a way of shifting your perspective so that instead of focusing on what's missing, you recognize the immense value in what's already present. Think about your life right now. The ability to hear, to see, to breathe. The relationships that bring you joy. The experiences you've had. The lessons you've learned. Even the challenges you've faced. They have shaped you, made you stronger, given you wisdom. But how often do we stop to acknowledge these things? We take them for granted, always looking to the next thing, always chasing an illusion of future happiness. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Do not indulge in dreams of what you lack, but reckon up the blessings you do possess, and remember how much you would long for them if they were not yours." Imagine losing something you take for granted, a loved one, your health, your freedom. Now imagine how deeply you would wish to have it back. That feeling. That's the gratitude we often forget to feel in the present moment. One simple way to cultivate gratitude is through reflection. Every morning or evening, take a few moments to write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be grand or extraordinary. A good conversation, a moment of peace, the warmth of the sun on your face. These are all reasons to be grateful. And the more you practice this, the more you start seeing gratitude everywhere. Another powerful practice is negative visualization, a Stoic exercise where you imagine losing something dear to you, not to scare yourself, but to remind yourself of its value. When you reflect on the impermanence of life, you stop taking things for granted. You appreciate them more deeply. Gratitude doesn't mean ignoring hardships or pretending everything is perfect. The Stoics weren't unrealistic optimists. They faced reality head-on, but they understood that no matter how difficult life gets, there is always something to be thankful for. And by focusing on what we do have, we cultivate inner peace, contentment, and strength. The next time you catch yourself complaining or feeling frustrated about what you lack, pause. Shift your focus. Ask yourself, what do I have right now that I would miss if it were gone? That simple question has the power to transform your emotions instantly. Gratitude is more than just a feel-good practice. It's a Stoic discipline. It reminds us that happiness isn't found in external achievements, but in appreciating the present moment. And when you master gratitude, you master one of the most important keys to lasting peace. Mastering your emotions isn't about suppressing them or pretending they don't exist. It's about understanding them, controlling your reactions, and choosing your response with wisdom. The Stoics believed that true power lies in the ability to remain steady, calm in the storm, unshaken by external chaos, and in control of your own mind. Through these 7 lessons, we've explored powerful ways to cultivate that control. By recognizing what's in your control, you free yourself from unnecessary stress. By reflecting before reacting, you prevent regret and strengthen your clarity. By practicing dispassion, you learn to observe emotions without being controlled by them. By asking yourself, will this matter in 5 years? You put problems into perspective. By keeping a Stoic journal, you track your growth and gain self-awareness. By seeing obstacles as opportunities, you transform adversity into strength. And by practicing gratitude, you shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance, finding peace in what you already have. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That strength is already within you. You just have to cultivate it. The next time life challenges you, pause. Remember these lessons. You are not a puppet of your emotions. You are their master. And with practice, patience, and self-awareness, you can navigate any situation with resilience, wisdom, and unwavering inner peace. Thank you for taking this journey into Stoic wisdom. If these insights resonated with you, take a moment to apply just one of them today. Notice how it changes your reaction, your mindset, and your overall sense of control. And remember, your emotions don't define you, you define them.